the silent target. The city never knew she was special. To most people, she was just another young woman hurrying through crowded streets. Her laughter bright, her beauty radiant. But far beyond Earth's skies, eyes had been watching. For months, the alien warlord Ramin of the Dravic Empire had scoured the galaxy searching for a human whose existence threatened his rise. Legends whispered of one destined to inspire unity, a spark Earth needed in the wars to come. He had found her, and now, he had come to erase her from history. That night, as the moon rose over Metropolis, she walked home from a late shift. The air was cool, but a chill ran through her bones. She didn't know why. She couldn't see the shadow tearing through the clouds above, a black shape splitting the stars as it descended. The first tremor came as she crossed the empty park. The ground shook, lights flickered, a cold wind swept through the trees. She froze, clutching her bag, eyes wide as something emerged from the shadows. Ramin was towering, his obsidian armor pulsing with sickly green veins of energy. His face was masked, his eyes glowing like twin embers. In his clawed hand, he carried a blade carved from the bones of dying stars. "You are the one," he hissed, his voice like knives scraping stone. "The flame Earth cannot be allowed to keep." She stumbled back, heart pounding, fear choking her throat. No one was around. No one could hear her scream. But the alien's arrival had not gone unnoticed. Far above the city, Superman's ears caught the tremor in the ground, the terrified gasp of a voice barely audible in the night. His eyes narrowed. In an instant, he cut through the clouds like a streak of light, and across the river, deep in an underground lab where alarms screamed of energy spikes, Bruce Banner's pulse spiked. He knew that surge. It was no natural phenomenon. His eyes burned green, his body convulsed, and then the Hulk roared into the night, sprinting toward the disturbance. The alien raised his blade, its tip glowing with deadly energy. The girl closed her eyes, helpless. Then came the rush of wind. A red and blue blur struck the ground between them, the impact cracking the pavement. Superman stood tall, cape whipping in the wind, eyes glowing with heat vision ready to ignite. "You don't touch her," he said, his voice calm but unyielding. Ramin tilted his head, amused. "The Kryptonian. I hoped you would come." Before Superman could answer, the ground erupted beside them. Hulk landed with a quake that split the street in half, dust exploding into the night air. He rose from the crater, fists clenched, teeth bared. "Big alien hurt, girl." Hulk growled, "Not tonight." For the first time, the woman dared to breathe. Two giants stood between her and death, the Man of Steel and the Green Goliath. Ramin raised his blade, unshaken. His voice carried across the park. Two champions, one girl, and a world too fragile to save. Tonight, Earth learns that even its gods bleed. Superman took a step forward, heat vision flaring in his eyes. Hulk slammed his fists together, the shockwave rattling windows blocks away. The battle for her life, and perhaps Earth's destiny, was about to begin. The first blow. The night shook with the impact of titans. The alien warlord Ramin, his obsidian armor pulsing with green energy, raised his star-forged blade with a calm, terrible confidence. Superman and Hulk stood between him and the terrified girl, both heroes bracing for the storm they knew was coming. The silence shattered in an instant. Superman launched forward first, faster than the eye could follow. His fist struck Ramin square in the chest, sending a shockwave across the park. Trees splintered. Asphalt cracked. The very air rippled with force. For a heartbeat, it looked like the alien might falter. But Ramin only staggered a step back. His blade whipped around with blinding speed, striking Superman across the chest. The Man of Steel went tumbling through a row of shattered cars, metal exploding into sparks. "So this is your champion?" Ramin growled, his voice carrying like thunder. "A child of a dead world, powerless against me." Before he could press his attack, the ground erupted. Hulk slammed into him with the force of an earthquake, fists pounding his armor like twin meteors. The impact echoed like thunderclaps, each strike more savage than the last. Ramin snarled, catching Hulk's fist mid-swing. Their eyes locked, green fury against crimson fire. With a single twist, the alien hurled Hulk across the street, smashing him into the side of an office tower. The building groaned, then collapsed in a storm of dust and rubble as Hulk roared his defiance. The girl, frozen by fear, stumbled backward. Her eyes darted between the gods clashing before her. She had never felt so small, so insignificant. Yet she realized in that moment that they were fighting for her life. Superman rose from the wreckage, his cape torn, eyes blazing with heat vision. The crimson beams cut through the smoke, slamming into Ramin's chest. This time, the alien staggered back several steps, his armor glowing hotter under the onslaught. "Hulk!" Superman shouted, his voice steady even in the chaos. Now, from the rubble, Hulk burst forth with a roar that shook the earth. He leapt high, bringing both fists down onto Ramin's shoulders just as Superman's heat vision surged to maximum intensity. The combined force cracked the alien's armor, green light spilling through the fissures. For the first time, Ramin bellowed in pain. But instead of retreating, he laughed, a low, cruel laugh that chilled the blood of everyone who heard it. Impressive, but foolish. His blade flared with unnatural power, feeding off the very energy used against him. With a sweeping arc, he unleashed a shockwave of emerald fire that sent Superman crashing into the ground and hurled Hulk into the river with a colossal splash. The park was left in ruins, the night sky glowing sickly green from the energy storm unleashed by Ramin's weapon. He turned his gaze back to the girl, who cowered against the wreckage of a broken street lamp. His steps were slow, deliberate, savoring the fay. No one can protect you. Not gods. Not monsters. Your fate is already written. A blur of red and blue struck him before he could finish. Superman tackled Ramin into the air, the two of them colliding mid-sky with thunderous force. Fists flew like lightning, blows fast enough to break sound barriers. They crashed back to the earth, cratering the ground. Ramin rose from the crater, his armor cracked but his grin still mocking. He raised his blade high, but this time, Hulk emerged from the river, water cascading off his massive frame. With a roar, Hulk seized Ramin's arm and wrenched it back. "Not kill the girl," Hulk bellowed, slamming the alien into the ground with bone-shaking fury. Superman joined him, fists glowing with solar energy. Together, they rained blow after blow, a relentless storm of rage and justice. The alien's armor shattered further, sparks of green energy spilling into the night. But even pinned, Ramin's power didn't fade. His eyes blazed brighter than ever. With a surge of will, he released another explosion of energy, throwing both heroes back once more. Breathing heavily, Superman steadied himself, glancing toward the trembling girl. "We're not letting him take you," he promised, his voice filled with unshakable resolve. Hulk cracked his knuckles, grinning through his fury. Puny alien. Hulk not done yet. Ramin rose again, battered but far from broken. His blade pulsed with raw energy, and the ground quaked with each step. His voice carried a promise of destruction. "You think this is victory? This is only the first blow. The Legion will come, and when they arrive, Earth will fall." Superman and Hulk stood shoulder to shoulder, ready for the next clash. The girl, though trembling, felt something stir in her chest. Hope. Because even against an alien warlord's fury, Earth's heroes did not kneel. The first blow had been struck. The war was only beginning. The last stand together. The park was a graveyard of fire and rubble. Smoke curled from shattered buildings, and the night air glowed with sickly green as Ramin's obsidian blade pulsed like a beating heart. Superman stood blooded, cape torn and dirt-streaked, while Hulk snarled through a cut across his brow, his chest rising like a furnace. The girl huddled in the shadows of a crumbling wall, eyes wide. These titans had bled for her, and yet Ramin still stood. "This is pointless," the alien hissed, his voice echoing like stone breaking under pressure. "You strike separately. You fall separately. Alone, you are nothing." Superman clenched his jaw, the faint glow of heat vision simmering in his eyes. He glanced at Hulk, who pounded a fist into his palm with a thunderous crack. For the first time since the battle began, Superman realized the truth. "He's right," Clark said, his voice steady despite the exhaustion. "We've been fighting him like we're alone. Hulk, we can't beat him apart. We need to fight together." Hulk's green eyes flickered with fury, but also with something else, understanding. He gave a short, sharp nod. "Together." Ramin sneered. "You think unity will change your fate? Then come, show me your futile bond." The warlord surged forward, blade slicing the air in an arc of emerald flame. Superman intercepted first. diving in with a rush of speed that blurred his form. His fists hammered Ramin's chest, forcing him back a step. The alien swung his weapon, but before it could connect, Hulk's massive hand seized the blade mid-swing. The weapon pulsed with lethal energy, burning into Hulk's palm. He roared, veins bulging, but he held fast. Not today. Superman seized the opening, heat vision blazing. Twin beams of scarlet fire struck the fissures in Ramin's armor, already cracked from their earlier strikes. The alien snarled as his chestplate shattered, green energy spilling like liquid flame. But Ramin would not yield. With a pulse of raw power, he ripped his blade free of Hulk's grip, sending the giant stumbling. Then, with a single upward slash, he unleashed a shockwave that hurled both heroes across the battlefield. The girl cried out as Superman crashed into the pavement just feet from her, his body carving a crater. Hulk was thrown into the side of a burning bus, flipping it onto its side with a thunderous crash. Ramin advanced again, his voice cold and merciless. This world is fragile. Its heroes weaker than its people believe. Watch as your saviors break. Superman forced himself to his knees, blood on his lip. He turned to Hulk, who shook the bus off his shoulders with a grunt. Their eyes met, and this time no words were needed. They moved as one. Superman took to the sky, flying low and fast, heat vision blazing as he strafed Ramin with searing beams. The alien swung his blade to block, sparks scattering across the night. At the same instant, Hulk charged from the opposite side, his fists tearing through rubble as he barreled forward. The timing was perfect. Superman feinted upward, drawing Ramin's guard, while Hulk slammed into the alien's ribs with a bone-shattering punch. The warlord staggered, his obsidian armor fracturing further. Now, Superman shouted. He rocketed upward, then dove like a missile, his punch colliding with Hulk's strike at the same instant. The combined force of Kryptonian precision and gamma rage cracked the very air, a shockwave exploding outward in all directions. Windows shattered blocks away. The ground cratered beneath them. Ramin roared in pain, green light pouring from his wounds. For the first time, his arrogance cracked into fury. You dare. Before he could finish, Hulk leapt high, grabbing the alien's arm. With brute force, he wrenched it back, exposing the glowing core in Ramin's chest. Superman's eyes flared crimson, and with surgical precision, his heat vision carved across the core. The alien screamed, his blade dropping from his hand as molten sparks erupted from the wound. His energy pulsed wildly, unstable, tearing at his armor. But even in agony, Ramin laughed. Fools, even if you destroy me, the Legion will come. This world cannot survive what waits beyond the stars. Superman's voice was steel. Then we'll be ready. With one final surge, Hulk and Superman struck together, Hulk's fist hammering downward, Superman's heat vision cutting upward. The combined force detonated through Ramin's chest, unleashing a blast of green fire that lit the entire sky. The shockwave hurled debris in every direction, buildings trembling from the explosion. When the light faded, Ramin lay in the crater, his armor shattered, his body flickering with fading energy. His eyes glowed weakly, defiant to the end. This is not over, he hissed. The Legion will hear of this. His form dissolved into emerald smoke, vanishing into the night sky as if carried back to the stars. Silence returned at last. The fires crackled, the city groaned, but the battlefield was still. Superman landed, breathing hard, his cape torn to rags. Hulk dropped beside him, chest heaving, fists still clenched. For a moment, the two simply looked at each other, warrior to warrior. Then Hulk smirked through blooded teeth. Not bad for Blue Boy. Superman managed a tired smile. Couldn't have done it without you, big guy. The girl stepped out from behind the rubble, trembling but alive. Tears streaked her face, but her voice carried gratitude that words barely held. You saved me. You saved all of us. Superman placed a hand gently on her shoulder. We're not done saving. Tonight was only the first stand. Hulk looked up at the sky, still glowing faintly green from Ramin's departure. His growl was low, certain. More coming. And in the silence of the night, the truth weighed heavy. They had won the battle, but Ramin's warning was clear. Earth had been noticed. The Legion was coming. For now, though, humanity could breathe. Superman and Hulk stood united, their last stand together proving one thing. When Earth's mightiest stood as one, Even the stars trembled. The war beyond the stars. The night air was heavy with smoke and silence. The battlefield that had once been a park lay in ruins, a crater stretching where Ramin had fallen. Superman and Hulk stood in the center, their bodies battered, their breaths ragged, but their resolve unbroken. Nearby, the young woman, the target of this nightmare, clutched her chest, tears streaking her face as she watched Earth's champion stand tall. For a moment, it seemed over, but then the sky shifted. Above the city, the stars began to bend. A faint crimson light pulsed in the heavens, then grew brighter, stretching into a web across the night. The rift Ramin had come through reopened, wider this time, its edges glowing with sickly energy. The very air hummed with alien static. Superman's eyes narrowed. He wasn't lying. Hulk grunted, fists tightening. More coming. The girl looked up, trembling. I thought you stopped him. Clark placed a steady hand on her shoulder, his voice firm but gentle. We stopped him tonight. But Ramin was just the first wave. From the rift, shadows moved, dozens, then hundreds. Warships, their hulls jagged and alive with pulsating veins of energy, began to slide into Earth's orbit. Each one dwarfed skyscrapers, blotting out the stars with their mass. Superman's super hearing picked up the echoes of alien commands, voices like 1,000 knives scratching across the void. Hulk's instincts growled warnings deep in his chest. And then, through the center of the rift, a colossal projection shimmered into existence. A figure, far larger than Ramin, cloaked in armor black as a dying sun. His voice rolled across Earth like thunder. I am Valaka, the Supreme General of the Netherborn Legion. You have slain one of my warlords. For this, your world will burn. His eyes, twin suns of crimson, locked directly on Superman and Hulk. We know your strength now, and soon you will know ours. When the Legion arrives in full, there will be no saviors, no hope, only silence. The projection shattered, but the armada above remained. Sirens echoed through the city as news spread. Cameras captured the sky, broadcasting to every corner of the world. People clutched their families, staring upward in fear. The girl whispered, "How can anyone stop that?" Superman stood straighter, his jaw hard. Together, Hulk cracked his knuckles, stepping forward to stand beside him. Legion smash. For the first time, the two titans exchanged a look, not rivals, not strangers, but allies bound by necessity. The bond forged in battle tonight would need to grow stronger, because they both knew Earth's fight had only begun. Superman's cape whipped in the wind as he looked up at the armada. He could already feel the weight of the battles ahead. Hulk growled low, the fire in his chest matching the glow in Clark's eyes. The girl took a step closer, her voice shaking but determined. They came for me. If I'm part of this, if I'm the reason, then I won't run. Superman softened, his voice firm but kind. You're alive because of tonight. That means you're important to them, and that means you're important to us. We'll keep you safe, no matter what. Hulk gave a rare, approving grunt. Girl strong, not break. Above, the warship shifted in the sky, then slowly pulled back, retreating into the rift. The crimson web collapsed with them, leaving the stars exposed once more. Earth had been spared for now, but the message was clear. This was not victory. It was a warning. Superman turned to Hulk. We'll need help. More than just us. Hulk's eyes glowed faintly in the dark. Others. Clark nodded. Others. The wind carried the smell of ash and iron, but beneath it, something else stayed. Resolve. Humanity had seen the impossible tonight, both in the terror of an alien warlord and in the defiance of its heroes. The world would not be unprepared again. As dawn's first light broke through the smoke, the camera of the moment, if it were a film, would rise over the shattered city. Two silhouettes stood firm on the rubble, side by side. Behind them, the gale, small yet unbroken, the symbol of why they fought. Above, the stars shimmered innocently, hiding the legion that waited just beyond. And in the silence, Superman whispered a vow only Hulk could hear. This was Earth's first roar. The war is coming, but so are we. Hulk bared his teeth in a grin, the sunrise catching in his eyes. Let Legion hear it. Together, they looked to the heavens, Earth's last defense, standing at the edge of a war beyond the stars. The screen would fade to black, to be continued,